Welcome. Welcome. So, this is a fun topic that we've covered a couple of times, but I think this one is critical to revisit. Definitely because they decide to celebrate LGBTQ every year or so. We'll take advantage and focus back on this here. Now, I guess the question would be, what's your problem with, this whole topic? Why do you care so much? Well, I'd say primarily for me, it shows hypocrisy within Islam itself, showing that the code of conduct may have participated in some unsightly behavior by his own definition, something that would lead people to be executed under his orders. But yet for him, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue here. I have a problem if you're supposed to be the ideal, and that's supposed to be exactly how Muslims are supposed to act, just like Muhammad, but yet you get executed for it. I'm confused. So this is an open call-in, so you guys are welcome to join us. We do have the link. It should be pinned at the top of this live stream here. But I am, of course, not alone here, and I am joined by two of my friends here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll start with Mary there.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm usually found on Thaddeus's channel, who is below, and I stream on a bunch of Islamic topics.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, since you guys are linked, we'll go ahead and go with Thaddeus there and find the channel that we can find Mary on.
Absolutely. Mary being very modest there. She more than just streams. She's an expert on virtually everything, any topic that comes up, Islam or not. We are impressed by knowledge. My channel is Reasoned Answers. Mary is a regular guest. She streams every Tuesday, including tomorrow. We'll be streaming on 19 in the Quran, a challenge to Muslims to tell us what that means, because the Quran says that this is the proof, so to speak, that Muhammad is legitimate, because the Jews and Christians will immediately recognize that he's gotten divine knowledge by saying number 19. So we'll be discussing that and challenging Muslims on that. Tomorrow, in general, the channel focuses on Christian outreach to Muslims, and we try to have discussions with Muslims whenever possible.
Thank you very much. So yes, and we're in fact might be having some of those conversations today, depending on if you guys call in. Now, my wife is pointing out that Thaddeus is breaking up horribly. Well, on my end, I was hearing some clipping, but I don't know if that's my side, because I had some technical difficulties right before I started, of course.
I'm hearing it too.
All right, well, let me switch here.
While you're switching, let me go ahead and highlight something that is coming up here in Ohio. We have, once again, the Seek and Share Truth Conference coming up here in Ohio. The link is in the description, as well as my wife pinned her shorter link up here. Right there. There we go. Pinned it. If you want to see that in the chat, you can click there, or you can look in the video description as well. So that is our Seek and Share Truth Conference coming up. It is free for anyone that wants to join. We will be doing a fundraiser alongside it. So if you guys can't make it but want to help support this sort of conference, go ahead and donate. This will be focused on how to outreach to Muslims, atheists, agnostics, all of the above. Jehovah's Witness will be covering quite a few different cults. So make sure to go ahead and click that and get your free tickets for that one. So I just want to plug that real quick. So Thaddeus, we're good?
Yep. Hopefully the audio is better now.
And Elle notes that
awesome.
We also have vocab coming, and Hatun hopes to come, but the website won't update.
Yes. So vocab and Hatun will be joining us. And we did have a question here. Who's just my comment? Well, yes, your comment was just a few seconds ago. Yes, the tickets are online and they are available. You can go ahead and click there. That will be on the, you have just online option where you can just watch it online. But if you really want the fun side of it, then you really need to be here in person, because that's the cool one. So, and yes, Hatun and Vocab will be joining as well. So there we go. We have her comment on that. So as to the topic, Muhammad being gay, what is the census on that, I guess, to the panel itself? What are you guys' thoughts on him having some homosexual desires?
Well, I would
desires
say
for acting on it.
Yeah, well, I'd say that strictly speaking, he wouldn't be considered homosexual because he was definitely attracted to women and young girls, perhaps young boys as well. So would be bisexual or pansexual, as certain people like to call it these days. But he definitely seemed to be interested in men as well. I think anything that pulse and perhaps things that didn't have a pulse, he was interested in putting his penis inside.
And also, it is notable that Islam promises a minimum of 72 virgins, but thousands of young boys who do not bleed. So there is an assumption there that the numbers of young boys that you would want to serve you in every way, it is quite clear that the bleeding is mentioned for a reason, that these young boys are much greater in number because it is assumed that that's what you will want. So we have him wanting, assuming that your preferences in heaven, in the greatest place ever, where you get everything that you desire, are of two sorts: many, many, many young desirable boys, and a good few dozen young girls whose breasts are barely developing. You actually do not have intercourse with women ever because there are no adult women in Jannah. There are nisa, but that does not mean an adult woman in classical Arabic. It just means
what about your woman from this life?
Yeah, they also you turn into a child.
They turn into a young,
yes,
barely developed girl as well.
Yes, because all of your heavenly spouses will be of the same age as each other. And so you turn into another little girl because that is what your husband would want. Why on earth would a husband want an adult woman when he could have someone who's approximately 9 years old developmentally?
Wasn't that what Muhammad said to his companion at one point, according to some hadith, where he's saying he gets married to an older lady, and Muhammad's like, "What? Why do you get married to the older women when you can have the younger ones and you can have fun fondling them?" And I'm like, someone called Child Protective Services. There's an issue here.
Well, that particular hadith is also very instructive because the response is, I was left with a number of little girls when my parents died. Whenever I became an orphan, though I'm an adult, I have a bunch of little girls to take care of. And so I want to marry a woman who can take care of them, not another little girl like them. Some versions of the hadith specifically talk about how I don't want to marry a girl who is like them. So it is clear, and Muhammad doesn't go, no, I didn't mean a little girl like the who needs to be taken care of, who can't even take care of herself, much less anyone else. No, he doesn't. He goes, oh, that's wise. So he was perfectly well understood whenever he said that I am not, I don't want to marry a little girl because I need someone to take care of little girls, not someone who's incapable of taking care of small children. So everybody knew what Muhammad preferred and what he thought was the ideal sexual partner for an adult man, that it was a young girl who would normally be taken care of, which is why whenever Aisha, he introduced intercourse with children, because Aisha was set up in her own house the way all wives were. You marry a woman, she gets her own house, she gets her own, and she manages that household. But Aisha was so little and so immature that she couldn't manage her own household. And that's what her slave, her former slave, a freed woman who still served her, Barira, she said whenever she was asked about Aisha's moral character, I know nothing bad about her except that she is a little girl and lets the goat or the sheep eat the family dough. Why? Because she is a little immature girl. So she's saying the only bad things I know about her are that she's still childlike because she's so young.
Oh, but they matured much faster in the desert heat.
Well, see, so she's immature, so she lets the goat eat her family's dough. That didn't seem to change very much when she got older, though.
No. After that, she was
heirlooms that she let goats eat.
In fact, there's another hadith that talks about the goat being so brazen, being so used to getting away with eating stuff in her house that he came in while Muhammad was sleeping with his body partly on her, and whenever she went to shoo the goat and disturb Muhammad, he corrected her and snapped at her because she woke him up. And then later, of course, that is probably the same goat or sheep who ate the Quran, making it the only holy book in the history of the world to have been edited by a goat.
Well, the Quran is very unique. We'll have that. It will say that. So, but going back to the concept of Jannah, it's very interesting to me because a lot of what is forbidden here is in abundance there, right? Overly abundant. I see the wine being overly abundant in Jannah. I mean, you get all these women that you get to have sex with left and right, and they go stand in their corner and you call to them, and then they can come have sex with you. And they go back to their corner. They don't talk to each other. Never, ever, ever.
Well, their purpose is only to have sex with the husband. So why would they need to talk? Yeah. They never leave the house either. They never raise their eyes and look at another man ever. So there are a number of folks who have dropped comments in the chat about Muhammad's sucking of little boys' tongues and penises. And that is also true. That began as Muhammad developed this insane theology that his body fluids would keep people from the hellfire. So whenever his former maid, whom he had probably also had intercourse with, whom he called mother often, named Amen, whenever she accidentally drank his urine, then he said, oh, your stomach shall never encounter hellfire. It's all right, because that means you're safe from hellfire there. So then whenever he had impulses to do things that anyone would consider to be extremely unseemly, he just did them. Because his excuse was that those parts of the body that he sucks on and licks will now be safe from hellfire.
Oh my goodness. So think of how much power that really puts in Muhammad himself, though. So he has the ability to suck on your tongue and forgive your sins. Or any other bodily fluid from him automatically has the power to wipe away sins. How's that not death and sex cult?
Well, are we sure though? Because maybe it's just your tongue or whatever else that he sucks on that goes to Jannah by itself. And thus your sins haven't actually been forgiven. You're still condemned, but your tongue is safe, or your stomach is safe, or whatever else he says.
It does seem like that particular body part gets special privileges. So I guess it doesn't burn in hellfire, but the rest of you can suffer hellfire. But at least that part won't be burning while you're in the hellfire.
So maybe there's just some tongues sitting around up in Jannah that were protected, and their owners not so much. So the tongues are just there hanging out, I guess. I don't know.
Well, then by that logic, you'd have to be sucked on completely by Muhammad in order to make sure you could completely get into heaven. And that's the only secure way you get into heaven.
Someone else is mentioning the fact that Islam permits pimping out your slave girls.
Absolutely.
And the reference for that is An-Nur 33, which seems to forbid it because it says, do not compel your maids to prostitution. But then if you continue, it says, if they wish to observe chastity. So already you're not pimping out your chaste maids in order that you may seek the temporary benefit of worldly life. But then it continues on. If one compels them, then after they're being compelled, Allah is most forgiving, very merciful. So if you happen to compel them, then Allah will forgive you. So don't compel them unless they want to do it. But if you do, it's okay. You'll be forgiven for it.
Well, not if they want to do it, right? Not if they want to do prostitution, but just if they're interested in having sex with anyone, if say they're interested in having sex with their boyfriend, well, then you're justified in also selling them as prostitutes.
That's true.
But as you point out, even that, it's like, and don't do it. But if you do, there's no penalty. There's no consequence. Allah doesn't care. Yeah, real strict there. Real strict there, Islam.
So let's see. We have someone saying that Quran 4:15-16 says lesbianism is a sin. They're put in jail until death. Okay. Unless prostitution, right?
Well, I mean, prostitution is with men. So, but yes, if your wives are engaging in affairs with one another, then you are to confine them in their rooms until they die. And in some interpretations, this is without food or water. So it's not, it's an unnatural death that you just starve them and dehydrate them to death. And others until their natural life ends. Those who commit unlawful sexual intercourse of your women, bring against them 4 witnesses from among you, and if they testify, confine the guilty women to their houses until death takes them, or Allah ordains for them another way. And the 2 who committed among you, dishonor them both. But if they repent and correct themselves, leave them alone. Indeed, Allah is ever accepting of repentance and merciful. So the among you is the masculine. So you're supposed to dishonor the men who are sleeping with each other and confine the women till they die.
Just to be clear, I was not laughing at confining the women until they die.
I was going to say, I'm thinking you're seeing something else.
Yes, I was laughing at this comment from Otis that just came in here. Christianity is just as foreign to Europe as Islam. Jesus was a fruity gay Jew. Just read John 13:23. And real religions are our ancestral ethnic religions, not this desert crap. So, I mean, a lot there, but what I was particularly laughing at him was calling Jesus a fruity gay Jew based on John 13:23. Let me just pull that up here. So I get
which contains a Roman eating practice, which is funny.
All right. So let me just start at verse 21 because that is
you want
the
to
start.
share your
I can share my screen. Yes.
Again, if you guys have any comments, you guys can join us and actually talk about these.
All right. So I shared that.
There we go. What's with the music?
The music's not me. If I make it more, there we go, more shaped like the window, then it will be bigger. All right. Starting at verse 21, because, that's the start of the paragraph, and we don't want to just pick up in the middle. After saying these things, Jesus was troubled in his spirit and testified, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he spoke. One of his disciples, whom Jesus loved, was reclined at a table at Jesus' side. That's apparently the proof that he's gay.
That he was reclined at Jesus' side.
Yep.
I guess it's because whom Jesus loved. They're interpreting this as some sort of sexual thing. And, he's even kind of half laying down because he wants Jesus to climb on top of him or something. I'm just guessing at how this is supposed to make someone gay. This is one of the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry.
It's because the King James Version has some archaic language that's confusing for stupid people and is phrased differently. He was at his bosom. Oh! Yeah, because it has archaic language. And as this guy just clearly demonstrated, stupid people who don't understand archaic language like that. So, well,
so
make
just
up
real
things.
quick, let me switch.
So he's just showing that he's illiterate.
Here.
Yeah, so here's the Greek for you. You can go ahead and look up kolpos on your own time. Not that you will, but the King James has the translation as bosom, which I guess he's interpreting as being sexual, even though it's not. In the King James even, right? Let alone in the Greek. But there you go. He wasn't at Jesus' side. I mean, he was at his bosom. Some people. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life.
Well, no, I've heard of this before, but it's like, okay, guys, come on. One, the tables weren't as tall as our current tables are. They're much lower. You'd sit on the floor on cushions, and you lounge around. You're relaxing and eating. So what? They're all laying back, relaxing and eating. It's just saying that this one disciple, which is John, by the way, was just laying right there. That's it. And it's beside Jesus. Okay. So what? Oh, he sat slightly closer to Jesus than the other ones. There's the proof. Again, compare this to sucking on little boys' tongues. Which seems more sexual? Sitting next to someone or sucking on their tongue?
Yeah, I mean, look at this. He leaned back against Jesus. And, there's a whole crowd having dinner, and he leans towards Jesus. Clearly, there's some kind of gay sex scene going on here. But we do have another genius in the chat, Islamic brother. Gay is sin in both Bible and Quran, even Torah, actually. So first of all, he doesn't realize that the Torah is part of the Bible. But we'll forgive him of that. Until they updated the Bible the 10,000th time. Well, sorry to disappoint you there, Islamic brother. But one, the Bible's never been changed. A new translation is not a updating of the Bible. It's not changing the words. It's using different, more modern language. But guess what? There's hundreds of thousands of different translations of the Quran as well. Does that mean the Quran has been updated thousands of times? Well, according to you, yes.
Again, I would
but even in like the most recent translation you can find, I'm sure there's probably a translation that came out within the last year. I can pretty much guarantee that the Levitical law against homosexual acts will still be there. I'm not aware of any Bible that has removed that verse. So I don't know what he's getting at other than trying to prove that he is completely and totally ignorant of everything.
Well, we've got one genius here that's saying that he's glad Islam has strict laws against homosexuality. Christianity changes all God's words. Wait, hold on.
Once
So
again,
Christians can change Allah's word.
once again, in 15 to 16, the only punishment for men is to dishonor them, and then you leave them alone. That is the only punishment for men having sex with other free adult men. And that is the context. And then in Jinnah, you get that as a reward. You get as many boys as you like as your reward. So your reward for restraining yourself from having sex with men now is to have sex with as many young boys as you'd like later. And the punishment for doing it is dishonor. Now, now it is said that the Quran used to contain the verse of stoning. My question is, if that was the words of Allah? Was the verse of stoning the words of Allah? And I will wait until he tells us this.
So again, this Muslim is continuing to show his ignorance because, again, Thaddeus has already jumped on this in the chat. But who is it? Who? The censored is John. Okay. Yeah, his last? What was his last name? Okay, dude. Understand when last names came along, what their context is, when we started using them, and you see a bit of an issue with your theology considering...
What was Muhammad's last name? You have no idea who he was. You don't know Muhammad's last name.
Or Umar, or Uthman, or Abu Bakr, or... You don't got their last names. So does that just disqualify all of Islam by your own logic?
Clearly it does.
I wouldn't make that argument. Again, I'm against Islam, and I wouldn't make that argument.
Yeah,
That's so incredibly stupid.
Anyway,
no one knows their last name.
He is not answering
even
my
the phrase
question.
last name reveals how ignorant and stupid he is, because that's not a proper term. It's only last in English, right? The familial name doesn't always come last in all languages, and is a relatively modern practice. It postdates Muhammad, so it clearly postdates Jesus.
We know all their names.
Okay,
Nader, because I will call him Nader because he does not deserve the name Nadir, needs to actually answer my question, or I'm going to put his little backside in timeout, not call me names. So what is the verse of stoning the words of Allah, or is it not? Tell me now, please.
There's a claim here that we can address while we're waiting for that, because you might be waiting a long time. They say you can only get women in Jannah, no boys.
Oh, so the Quran's false?
So where does it say about the boys? Where's that? So what is he actually calling false?
I guess the Quran is stupid, and so is Muhammad himself. The Quran is false, and so is Muhammad himself whenever he talks about the people lying in canopy beds with whom? Their women and their boys. And then they look up and see wives that they didn't even see before. So you need to tell me whether or not the verse of stoning is from Allah. If you say anything else, I'm going to put you in timeout. Nader, which is now your name because that's the name you deserve. You are the Nader of Islamic apologetics right now. You are not Nadir. So let us know whether or not the verse of stoning was from Allah or if a jinn gave it to Muhammad.
Again, guys, easily come up here right now. You have the opportunity. I'm just going to go ahead and share the link right now. Here you go. You have the opportunity to defend your gay prophet Muhammad. He acted in a homosexual way to multiple people, specifically small boys.
Good question. So this genius here now, after saying that the Quran says there are no boys in Jannah, says the Quran literally says that there are boys in Jannah. So real genius.
All right,
here,
he still didn't answer my question, so his butt's in timeout.
He did before.
He did?
Before that,
Where?
though. He did say, yes, that's my name. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
he didn't answer my question. I told him that
No,
he must
no.
tell me.
So apparently he actually does pronounce it Nader.
Okay. Muslims in the chat. Come on, guys. It should be very simple for you. If Muhammad was not acting in a gay way towards these young boys, and even a hadith that says about camels, mind you, it should be very easy for you to come up here and just refute us. I mean, the link's right there. I'll let you speak your point. We won't interrupt you during your opening statement as long as it is on topic. And you can give us your statement of why you believe that Muhammad did not act in a gay manner when he was sucking on little boys' tongues, or some hadith talk about him kissing in between their legs, or letting grown men kiss him all over his body. You guys are more than welcome to come up here and refute us. Unless you actually know that Muhammad did do these things and you're so ashamed that you'd rather just stay in the chat.
I think that I think they're probably ashamed, and they're probably definitely ashamed of their prophet. This genius here with the non-English characters, so I don't know his name, but he keeps spamming in all caps. Dude, stop typing in all caps or you're going to time out. Stop spamming or you're going to time out. Saying the same thing 20 times doesn't make your point any better. You find me a single tafsir that says you can't be gay in Jannah.
I will get to the tafsir that says specifically about how you can totally be gay and how you will be gay, in fact. But first, let's look at let's look at the Quran itself, right? And to those who believe and their seed that follow them in belief, we shall join their seed with them, and we shall not defraud them. Aught of their work, every man will be pledged for what he earned. And we shall succor them with the fruits and flesh, such as they desire, while they pass therein a cup with one another, wherein is no idle talk nor cause of sin. And there go around them youths their own, as if they were hidden pearls. Now, it's very interesting because this language of hidden pearls is the same language used for the Huris. Then it says, what does it say about these youths? It says that they do not bleed, and it's mistranslated, always mistranslated, as if they are like going around or who are pure. But that's not what it says. It never says pure. It says who do not bleed. It says that that these youths will go around who don't bleed. Why? What is the significance of the not bleeding youths?
Would it happen to involve some anal penetration?
In fact, one would assume that it would, because it's funny because women are also said to not bleed even though they have hymens that are being ripped.
So that would be the context there.
Yeah, and just above it, it talks about the wives that they will have. So first it talks about the wives, and then it talks about, oh, you're reclining on couches. And now I will go and find for you a tafsir that talks about lying with men specifically.
Since anal is haram. Show us where exactly that is. Because there are quite a few exceptions to that. Quite a few. We did cover one not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Under Sharia law, I forget what section. It was 12.0. Oh, 12 was what it was. There's a long list of exceptions there. Hey, Truth Defenders, welcome. I'm still waiting for you guys to call in. I mean, it's open. If you guys see that show before, we let you talk.
And Al-Dur al-Manthur of Suyuti on Surah 18, Ayah 31. Dur al-Manthur by al-Suyuti. This is one of the two Jalals of al-Jalalain as well. The same person, right? In
Good.
Surah al-Kahf, it says, those for them are the gardens of Eden, the rivers flowing underneath them. They shall be adorned therein with bracelets of gold, and they shall wear green garments of silk and brocade. Therein reclining upon canopy beds. Excellent the reward and good the resting place. And the gloss for canopy beds includes a hadith about him lying with his wives and children, or excuse me, not children, that'd be really messed up, with his wives and servants, serving boys, for 70 years. So he's lying with wives and serving boys for 70 years on the bed, and then after that he will look up after 70 years of having intercourse and see other wives whom he has never seen, who will come up and say to them, it is time for you to give us our share of you. So note that this reclining with spouses is also mentioned in 33:55-6. But this hadith here explicitly mentions that the reclining will not only be with wives, but will also be with serving boys. So you will be reclining with serving boys, and you will be so distracted by them that you will look up after 70 years with one of them and will see other women who have not yet been addressed. And significantly here as well, note that even in paradise, wives will have complaints because they will not have what they consider a reasonable portion of their marital due. But because paradise is made for the pleasure of men, that's considered a great thing to the listeners of Muhammad who mattered. So there you go.
So guys, we can keep going on with these sources. It works out much better if you're actually here to like defend your prophet, have your say. Again, I mean, I'll let you have your moment to speak to let us know what your position is, but you will be examined.
And someone specifically asked for a tafsir that talks about intercourse with boys, and that was a portion of a tafsir that discussed the intercourse that you will have with boys reclining on your canopy beds.
Again, what was the reference?
That is Dur al-Manthur on 18. Whoops. I went away from the screen. I have like 50 windows open right now. On 1831. And it's only available in Arabic, but you can translate it automatically if you do not speak Arabic.
Well, it's just most of them. Come on, guys.
Never stops any of them from saying, you don't know Arabic, so you can't tell us anything about Islam, though.
No. But I will tell you, you don't need to know Arabic.
So the Quran was revealed in Arabic in order for all mankind to understand it when hardly anyone actually understands it. That makes no sense at all.
Well, according to the Quran, why was it revealed in Arabic?
According to the Quran, it was revealed in Arabic for the Arabs, for them to have the same message that was in the Injil and the Torah in their language. That way, on the day of resurrection, they cannot say that they did not know.
Right, but
it
of
also
course,
implies that everyone
Muslims
always had a language.
But of course, Muslims today say that Allah is a liar and didn't know what he was talking about in the Quran. And in actuality, the Quran was in Arabic for everybody, because Arabic is the clearest and most beautiful language, even though it consistently ranks as the ugliest language among the top 10 ugly languages in the world. Arabic is always listed if you do a poll of different people around the world. But it's supposed to be so beautiful that you know that it's true because of its beauty. And yet, in spite of basically all Muslims being forced to vote for it as the most beautiful language on worldwide polls of the ugliest languages, it always hits top 10. I think it always hits top 5.
So we have a brilliant refutation from moneymakers in the chat. He says, no one says that, dumbass girl.
So also oh wait, no one says that the Quran is for
Well,
All
he says you're
mankind?
pulling that out of your ass. I think he probably means he either means about Arabic being beautiful or about it being ugly, one or the other, I'm imagining.
which one? About being ugly or beautiful?
I don't know.
Want
He just
to,
said it.
Okay, guys, if you're going to make your insults, at least make them clear. We have to understand the insults in order for them to even land. If you just make nonsense, not very good. Most popular book, not even close.
Well, he didn't say what was the most popular book. I mean, that book, yeah, that picture is clearly not a Quran. So
The Quran definitely is not the most popular book. That's
maybe that's a picture of Harry Potter there.
Now that would be closer. That'd be a much more popular book.
ugliest languages in polls. Number 1, Mandarin. Number 2, German. Number 3, guess what? Arabic.
Arabic. Now let's apply some critical thinking to this claim real quick. And I know it's off topic, but it is actually worthwhile thinking about this. So Allah decided that Arabic, saw Arabic come to be and said, that is the most beautiful language ever. I'm going to give my revelation in this. It's going to be miraculous. There's going to be miracles inside this book. It's going to lead the people into a new age of scientific discovery, as claimed by many Muslims. Then, based upon that, if we assume that all those little checks are true, then logically, we would expect the Islamic world to be number 1 in scientific discoveries and number 1 as far as trade language, and is the most accepted language because it's the most powerful, it's the most pleasant to the ear, it's the most advanced language. So obviously everyone accepted the most advanced language. No, we see the opposite.
But it has 600 words for camel, and English only has 2. Therefore, it's vastly superior to English.
We actually have tons more words for camel the way they count it. The funny thing is the one they always go to is lion. And that's actually because if there's some word that's associated with a name and nobody knows what the name means, they'll just assign it the meaning of lion because that's like a nice name meaning. That's literally where it comes from. No one uses all these different words. Like Assad is like actually a word that people use for lion. But like a lot of the other words that they're like, that means lion. Nobody uses those words for lion. They just assign names arbitrarily to the meaning of lion and then count that as a word. So he said that Muslims don't say that Allah is a liar. So my question is, does he believe that the Quran is in Arabic and all people need to read Arabic and understand the Quran in Arabic? And that's important to know Arabic to pray, that you need to know Arabic to pray to Allah, because otherwise you won't be able to pray properly? Or do you or is it just in Arabic for the convenience of Arabic speakers so that they can understand it and they get exactly what other people already have? Which one?
Well, not only that, but he's defined what Allah calls himself, because Allah calls himself the greatest of deceivers, which an aspect of a deceiver is to not only lie, but to make others believe their lie. And he is the best of that, according to his own words. So don't call Allah a liar. At least that's not supposed to be your job. That's supposed to be my job. Just to let you know, I'm supposed to be the one disproving Islam.
So Moneymaker is saying that it doesn't matter. You can just need to know what it means, or excuse me, you just need to understand. Meaning and understanding is over everything. The language doesn't matter. And so my question is, can you do all of your salat to Allah in a different language?
So this genius So the thing that we pulled out of our ass and is something that no Muslim ever says, that you have to know Arabic in order to understand the Quran and Islam. That's literally the number one defense of Islam we get from Muslims, is you don't know Arabic. And this genius Muslim in the chat is saying, we're making this up because this is such a stupid argument that we're trying to attribute to Muslims. What the heck is going on here today, Mr. Moneymakers? Have you ever been in any Islamic chat in your life? Or do you normally just go on to YouTube to try to find get rich quick schemes? And for some reason you saw this in your stream and clicked on it, and you have no clue about anything in Islam. You've probably been to a mosque 3 times in your life, but you're a Muslim, and thus you think you know everything. Is that what happened here today? Because to say we made that up when this is the only thing that Muslims ever tell us as why we can't talk about Islam, and indeed Muslims in this chat have said that today, just shows how amazingly clueless you are.
So
yeah, my question is, he's like, oh, well, you still have to do prayers in Arabic. Why? Why do you have to do prayers in Arabic? And my question is, can you recite Quran in other languages and say that you are reciting Quran? Do you get the benefits of memorizing Quran according to Islamic law if you memorize the translation?
I'll give him a freebie. The answer is no. Okay, that's not that complicated.
I know. This was actually a
to...
debate. This was actually a debate about whether or not translated Quran was Quran and you could pray in other languages and things like that. Back in the Shukabiyya and the Arabiya controversy. And the Shukabiyya, who had the position of Mr. Moneymaker, were declared to be heretics and were mostly killed. So, I mean, if you want to go out and declare this and get killed somewhere, I mean, go ahead.
And Nader in the chat agrees. He says Salah has to be in Arabic. So you have a Muslim in the chat telling this Muslim that it has to be in Arabic, while he's telling us that we're stupid, ignorant Christians because we're making up stuff that no Muslim ever says.
He did agree that that Salah had to be in Arabic, but he did agree that Salah had to be in Arabic, but he won't. But he said that reading Quran counts in any language.
You're right. He did say that you have to pray in a language you don't understand because it's the only language Allah will accept. But this is why you know Islam is true, because Allah is very limited like that.
Okay, so real quick here, we do have some house cleaning to do. Real quick here, we got super chat and then a response I want to hit. So the super chat is, do you ever wonder how many of the women in burqas in the Middle East are actually Twix or Twinks? That's a good question. You don't know.
Well, the fact is, now if you look at traditional Arab societies, there you will always find men who dress as women. And they don't even have to wear burqas. They can be obviously men who dress as women. Any place Islam has gone, it has brought the tradition of cross-dressing men who perform at weddings and at parties with men and are sexually available. This happens in Malaysia. It happens in India. It happens in Yemen. It happens in Oman. They've been like killed out of Saudi Arabian culture, but they came from that place and went with Islam wherever Islam went. And so it is an embedded part of Islamic culture that traveled together with Islam wherever Islam went. You got the slave class who may or may not have been castrated, who were sexually available to other men. And they didn't even bother to cover up thoroughly. And when they dance, they will take off their veils in front of men because they are men, but then they will have sex with the men. That's just how it works in Islam, because it's the kind of religion that Islam is. Now, if you're wondering if they're running around to have sex with men in burqas, they don't need to. If you go out into the countryside in any like very rural town in the Islamic world, you will find, and in cities too, in the parks, you will find at night that the bushes are occupied by men having intercourse with other men, because it is born from the tradition of people going out to have sex with each other, particularly around the time that women go out and poop in the bushes at night. And it evolved into a way of men, that women didn't go out anymore once they adopted latrines, but men would go out. Now, if women want to have affairs with men, they can look out of their window, find a hot man, and find a go-between between them and the hot man, who would keep their identity secret and would have intercourse with the man. Either he would dress up, if he was a smaller man, like in height, he could be very wide, but in height, a smaller man, he could come to her house, put out women's shoes outside the door as if she's entertaining a woman guest, and she'd just have sex with him. And then he'd leave again, and the husband wouldn't come in because he thinks that she is having tea with one of her female friends. And then after he leaves, he'd get away with it because he'd cover up and leave. Or alternatively, she would claim that she's visiting parents or other relatives or other friends, and go out and go to a place that some friend of hers has made available to her, and have intercourse there. So, Nader, I'm not spreading any lies. These are all extremely well documented occurrences. When European women first came and visited Islamic lands, they were astonished by how widespread, especially among the upper classes. Lower classes are pretty busy people, but the upper classes, how incredibly widespread adultery was, and how easy it was to become adulterers. And in fact, one lady, Mary Wortley Montague, was like, wow, if we adopted this veiling, women could do anything they wanted to do, because she could walk right by her husband to the man she's about to have sex with, and he would have no idea that it was her. And how incredibly widespread this practice was. So, no, I'm not spreading any lies. This is what Islam brings. Why? Because it has the appearance of holiness and none of the substance.
Again, you're free to join here and refute any of it. We'll let you have your own little time to have a conversation. Just come up and speak.
It's amazing how all these Muslims are in the chat spamming insult after insult, how stupid we are, how pathetic this is, how hilariously dumb we are, and none of them have the guts to talk to us for one sentence even. It's almost like this is empty bravado, and they know in their hearts that Islam is false. They're following a demonic religion straight to hell, and they don't care because it allows them to feel superior. It allows them to say, everyone else is the worst of all creatures, and I am the best of all creatures. Why? Because my demonic book says so.
So I'm going to put one more thing down here, Nadir. Step up or step down. Either step up, come up here and talk with us. If you do not do that in a timely manner, because I know there's a slight delay between it, and I want to be fair, we'll have some correction.
So one of the things that happened in Morocco, that the Jews, because someone was talking about, if your wife were cheating on you, would you want a Christian to tell you? Which is funny. Quran in my hands. Come join. I have a Quran right here. So get your butt up here.
Got it right here. Actually, I got multiple.
I
got this one that's got a hole in it. I've got this one. I've got this one that's also got another bullet hole in it.
You're Arabic. No English content.
You're Arabic. Straight up Arabic. Come join us. The link is right there. It's not hard for you to click. You can use a browser.
That's
It
it.
works
If you
on
get the
phones.
Quran in your hands right now, and I'll
Computers.
join. Let's see if that was just more empty bravado, because he assumed that
sure
we
it
didn't
was.
even own a Quran, probably.
Yep. Oh, certainly. So anyway, there was a law. Speaking of other faiths and Islam's.
Sorry, 1 second here. We do
Okay,
need to
go
have a
ahead.
correction. He says you're not my boss, so I told you you needed to join. You have now refused. So there is correction. So as we say, Quran. And as people know, if I grab this Quran, crap's about to happen. And this whole channel, we've had quite a bit of crap so far on this stream. So that's 1 page right there for your act. Okay? Let's not make it 2, okay? I don't want to buy another Quran, although I have quite a few collection of it at this point. Because Muslims keep giving me Qurans to rip up. And I don't understand why they like giving me Qurans to rip up, but they keep, every time I walk by the Dawah table, they shove a Quran in my hand for me to rip up. So, that's 1 page right there, bud.
Now, one of the things in Morocco that was required of the Jews who were living there is that whenever Muslim men came with their slave boy butt buddies, that the Jewish people had to allow them to have sex with their boy toys on their beds and feed them afterwards. This is in the book Islamic Homosexualities, that is by an academic.
Oh, sorry. We got another page. Another page right there.
So while you're doing that,
Oh, well, ripping the Quran is the most Christian thing that I could do because it's words of a
absolutely.
demon. It is a demonic, foul, disgusting book. It is revolting. It insults our God in every way. It's a stupid book, and it makes God look like a moron. You will find Muslims burning Christians alive, Nadir, or Nader.
Yeah.
You won't find a
seriously.
Muslim ripping a
That
Bible.
is true Islam.
rip up a
Islam is a
page.
foul and disgusting religion of foul and disgusting people
Rip
who
up
actually
1 page
follow
like
it.
this.
Most people do not follow it. Why? Because it's foul and disgusting. Now, what is baked into Islam is the fact that Allah has pre-forgiven you of any sin that is held in secret. So any kind of illicit sex that you have that does not have the requisite 4 witnesses seeing the penis enter the vagina like an ink quill entering a pot is automatically already forgiven. And it's the same with anal sex. If you do not have 4 witnesses to the act seeing butthole and penis, Allah has forgiven it, and it is not your responsibility. Moneymakers, we've already realized that you're a terrible Muslim and don't understand what Islam actually teaches, and that's fine. If you're a terrible Muslim, that makes you a better person.
We've already gone over that part.
So you already said you join. Are you a liar like your prophet, or are you not a liar like your prophet? Moneymakers, you haven't read any of them, so I don't know why you're talking. So you said you would join. Are you a liar like your prophet, or are you a truth teller? Join.
Yep, he's going to timeout if he makes another comment. He said he was going to join right now if we showed that we had a Quran.
We all had one next to us.
He made 20 comments since then. He has used some very foul language and said that he's joining right now. So if he doesn't, up, bye-bye.
Yeah, Nadir, you'd have to read it. You'd have to pick it up at least, and you would not pick up a Bible even enough to tear it because you're so frightened of it.
So he said that he has over 200 accounts, but regardless of how many accounts he has, we can block and block and block. And even if he comes back under a new username, he's already proven himself a liar. He said he would do something, he didn't do it.
Yep, guys. Yeah. I don't mind if someone is honestly searching for God. If you honestly believe this stuff, fantastic. We can work with that. But if you're actively out there to just deceive people, there's literally no point in you being here. There isn't. Because all you're going to do is lie and try to deceive people. we've brought up reference after reference after reference. We've looked at cultural. We've examined all this. We even know that Muhammad himself was a drag queen and he cross-dressed quite a bit. In fact, we know that Allah specifically signed off on it because according to Muhammad, he only got revelations in the garments of his 9-year-old child bride. So, and the garments there are loosely translated as garments. It could also mean underwear. So, bit of an issue.
Let me just address two things real quick. One from Nader. He says, ripping another person's holy book is on a total different level. Yeah, it's far worse, far more disgusting
What
than
about
murdering
shooting it?
people. Yeah, than murdering people for not being Muslim. I mean, murder, that's kind of bad. But ripping a book, man, that it crosses a line. Yeah, okay. And then I did also want to address, there was someone named Mo, who I believe is a Christian, who also disagreed with us destroying a Quran. So let me just explain why we occasionally go this far. He said it was very sad to see Christians acting like Muslims, and he said it was very unchristian to destroy a Quran. So one, the Quran doesn't deserve any intrinsic respect. Would you say that it's pathetic for someone to rip Harry Potter or Stephen King? Probably not. So why are you showing the Quran more respect than you would any random book? That's number one. Now, number two, sure. I mean, we don't just rip it for the heck of it. We don't rip it to provoke Muslims. We don't actively try to upset Muslims. That would be pointless. That would be silly. It would be akin to book burning for purposes of censorship, accomplish nothing. However, we are very experienced in talking to Muslims. We are very experienced in responding to a particular type of Muslim, the kind who comes in and makes aggressive comments online, the people who think of themselves as jihadis, but are too scared to pick up a gun. So they pick up a keyboard, come into these chats and try to be a big man. They will, not every single one, but a good portion will reform their behavior in response to threats about the Quran because they respect the Quran. They don't care about anything we say. They wouldn't have any problem if someone came and murdered us, but they don't want to be responsible for the destruction of a Quran. And indeed, this comes straight from the Quran itself, this idea that if your actions cause someone to insult Allah, that you should stop doing those actions. And so we do this as a way of moderating their behavior, of responding to them. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I don't think it's very far, and say that Jesus would do the same thing in this situation.
Absolutely. In fact, if you look at the Bible, it is filled with holy men who do not allow idols of some sort or religious icons to last in the land. In fact, those who tear down Asherah poles and burn them are considered to be holy men. In fact, it's a mark of shame and of being wrong if you didn't. So no, in the Bible it is very full of that. And if you were to step it up, as some other people do, we step it up in kind. Wait, why am I doing this? Because Muslims like Hamas value this book more than they do human life. If you want to know more, check out the video here. This video is not promoting violence in any way. There you go. So I think we got the point of how I got this Quran with the star shaped in the back, which is actually kind of interesting. How a soft point goes through a Quran. So, yes, Hamas did some things that are very wrong, period. Hamas is a bunch of terrorists. They did terrorist actions. They attacked a bunch of innocent people and killed them. So, there you go. I mean, seriously, you guys could stop at any time. You stop acting like an idiot. We stop destroying the Quran. Very simple. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
But actions have repercussions. Very easy.
Yep.
If you want to show, you see the full length one, we have the full length one on my channel. It shows the full slow-mo of that and repeats itself, which is kind of cool.
And that's a good reminder to me that we need to get more of those actually public.
I've been itching to record some more. I mean, all I got to do is have a good reason. You know, guys, step out of line again. I've got plenty more.
So it's quite interesting that people keep running to, but Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, why is Sodom and Gomorrah in the Quran at all? Why are the people of Lut? Because Muhammad was so stupid, he thought that Lot, was from the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, that specifically Sodom, that was his city and his people. It explicitly says that, even though he is a nephew of Abraham, and he's just residing there because Muhammad didn't know, then Allah's too stupid to know, because Allah only knows what Muhammad knows, and thinks that Lot is from the people of Sodom, which is ridiculous. But the story is only there at all because Muhammad tried to copy Bible stories badly. He tried to copy narratives that already existed to legitimize his prophethood. And he said that the Quran is true because it is confirming what has already been given in the Torah and the Injil, and that those books are the same as his books. So he did a bad copy paste, so that was in there. So now he has to deal with it in some way. So how does he deal with it? By saying that you should shame or humiliate people men who were having sex with men in this life, so that in the new life, they'll be able to have sex with as many boys as they want. They get extra payment, extra benefits, because they're totally forbidden in this life. So they get thousands of boys to have intercourse with instead of just a few.
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting for one of them to step up.
Yeah. I think that we've had a dozen different Muslims in the chat. I'd say at least 9 of them posted insults about how stupid we are. And yet none of them, at least one, promised to call in, and yet none have called in. Every Muslim is scared to death of 3 ignorant, stupid Christians who know absolutely nothing about Islam. What does that say about you? If we're ignorant, stupid, and know nothing, then how come you know so little that you can't even refute us?
So Hafs and Warsh, dude, learn your different Qurans, because there are over 30 different Arabic Qurans, and it's not because of their recitation. There are different dialects. No, they contradict each other. And
they have aspects that are reflected in differences in fiqh.
Okay, real quick. Yes, you're married to a woman, not a boy.
Right now.
Congratulations. Good job. You're better than Muhammad.
And you will only be married to little girls and have intercourse with them and your boy servants in Jannah. You will not be married to a woman. You cannot have women in Jannah. You can only have little girls and boys. So I was talking to him that the reason why he is a Muslim is because he wants to have intercourse with little boys and little girls in Jannah. That is this wonderful place, and he wants to overeat all the time. And instead of pooping and peeing, he wants to sweat out everything that he eats and drinks. And he wants to drink all the time and have beautiful golden plates to drink off of. And that to him is the best thing that he could do. Now, creating beautiful works of art, growing beautiful gardens, doing all of the kind of creative sort of things that humans do, none of those things are appealing to him. No. Sex and eating and shopping are the promises of Jannah. That you are to be nothing but at like a party that absolutely will not end ever. Yeah, what if your dog has a tongue and a very long tongue and 2 big floppy ears and a tail, would you worship that one God? Would you worship
Well, you see, it's
Satan?
not only worshiping
As
one
long
God,
as he's one?
it's worshiping one God and one man. Because let's be honest, Muslims worship Muhammad.
Yes,
And they're even allowed to pray, which is an aspect of worship, to Muhammad instead of praying, which is an aspect of worship, to Allah. And I challenge him to come up here and prove me wrong.
So Nader said, Jana is everything we desire and more. What if you desire young boys?
Well, that would be the everything and more part.
Well, that'd be the everything, at least.
Yeah, because
Jannah
you are
has
not
nothing for me.
So the Quran specifically says that no one will be single in Jannah. So if you're a person who would rather be single in Jannah, you will not. Why? Because you will be made to want exactly what Jannah gives you. Now, you do worship Muhammad because you speak to him in prayers. If you talk to someone who is dead and cannot hear you and address him according to Islam, you are praying to a person if you address them in a prayer, according to Islam. If it's not like you're praying with someone next to you, you are addressing somebody.
And on top of that, you are allowed to directly pray to Muhammad in your prayers. Not even that prayer. I mean, praying for intercession with Muhammad.
No, in Jannah, women with men and men with men and men, but they're actually girls. They're little girls with men and men with boys in Jannah. And again, you said that you get anything you want. So supposedly, according to you,
okay.
What?
Real quick here.
And you need to call in.
Mary.
Because you're being a coward.
Call in. I will put the link one more time in the chat. Again, that is open to anyone. We're opening this up to Christians. We're opening this anyone that wants to talk about this topic. Okay? And I promise to give you time. If you do not, you'll be responsible for another page being ripped from the Quran. Take a pick.
Yeah,
okay?
we may have to upgrade, you know. We may have to do something a little more extreme than just ripping.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Foretaste.
So I'm fine with that.
So the point is, yes, Jannah is everything Muhammad desires. And it specifically says, what woman ever wants to have her husband take additional wives that he prefers over her? None. In Jannah, Allah removes from women jealousy. He makes them like it. Makes them like the fact that their husband is sleeping with other men.
Wasn't that the case?
Why do you think Allah will not make you like exactly what Jannah provides? That you will like rolling around in a big old palace and in a tent, because goodness knows we still have tents, a big tent with a bunch of see-through little girls and maybe, possibly, a Muslim woman, but there are going to be a lot fewer Muslim women than there are people, these huris who are created for sex, and of course the women of the people of hellfire who are pulled out to fill out the number of wives. So why do you think you will not be made to like exactly what Jannah provides? It's supposed to be the best of everything. If you don't like that, then there's something wrong with you. And Allah will wipe your mind to make you like those things. But more than that, let's keep in mind that you should be able to tell the difference between the kinds of things that Satan would promise a depraved, disgusting pervert who is a desert murderer, a brigand, a robber, so that he will rob for him and do these horrible things for him.
Pause for 1 second, Mary.
And the promises of God himself. What's the difference? Go ahead.
So, Nader, when you pray to Muhammad later, you address Muhammad in your prayers. I want you to remember this image and ask Muhammad for forgiveness for what you did to this piece of the Quran.
I think he's like responsible for 5 pieces at this point.
I want him to remember this image specifically. of the stupid, pathetic Christian with the Quran on his tongue because he was acting like a child in chat after multiple warnings.
Now, again,
That's all.
going back to one of the things that he found to be the most repulsive, again, is praying to Muhammad. And I'd recommend everyone to go look this up. I have used this multiple times, and there is no doubt about this, according to the Muslim scholars. Zoom up a little bit on this. This is Reliance of the Traveler. So this is the handbook to Sharia law in English. You can see the Arabic there in the English. Just for those who want to read the Arabic, you have the Hadith of the man in need, which Muhammad orders a man to specifically pray to him during his lifetime for intercession. Now, oh, wait, hold on. Correction. Sorry. It's a blind man. Sorry, it's a page before. It's the blind man who Muhammad orders to pray. The man in need is after about 18 to 20 years after Muhammad's death. Then men are continued to order to pray to Muhammad after his death. So since I know you're not actually going to step up, I'll go ahead and put those. Now, you can find this online, this PDF. It's called Reliance of the Traveler. We are specifically looking at page 952 and 953. Both of these hadith are mutawatir hadith. So there is no doubt that these are reliable according to the Muslim scholars. So just as a reference, if you want intercession with Allah and you feel that Allah is not fulfilling your needs or listening to you, you can just go ahead and pray to Muhammad. Mm-hmm. Because you can turn to Allah through Muhammad. Thank you for the gifted membership there, Solitary Amin. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. So, the chat is popping. You guys, seriously, we are giving you a platform to speak, to have conversation. Again, like I said, we'll give you, when you join, I'll ask a couple of simple questions, and then I'll give you a moment to address the topic or give your perspective on the topic, and then we'll go in. If you don't keep on the topic, then we have a bit of an issue.
Yeah, Mr. $sign needs to tell us who Allah is praying for, or he needs to come in, or praying to. When he prays for Muhammad, who is he praying to? And if he cannot do that or come in, he needs to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won't repeat his language, but he made a quite vile comment reflective of the nature of the God that he serves. He thinks that he has some great arguments against Christianity that he heard in a grade school, and he hasn't developed beyond that level since, which in fairness to him is quite normal for Islamic mind. After all, you do reach maturity at age 6. That is when you're capable of being married off. So I don't blame him too much for having the level of intelligence or social etiquette of a kindergartner, but I welcome him to call in and give us some amazing arguments for the truth of Islam.
Well, we got a little bit of a comment here that I think is pretty cool. Okay, maybe this is a good hypothesis here. Allah is praying to Jesus, because after all, Jesus is God himself. So, is that the truth? I mean, you're more than welcome to come up here and refute.
All right. I'm putting him in timeout because he doesn't know anything.
Muslims, come on.
Just 1 minute. 1 minute. He can come back after 1 minute and let us know who Allah is praying to. Because he prays for Muhammad, to whom does he pray? And Nader needs to tell us
the Quran is crap.
Whether or not he can do salah without saying, "Oh Prophet," in his prayer.
Who said that we liked the taste of the Quran?
I didn't say I liked it.
Not that it's truth by any means, but
that's not
maybe I do like the taste of truth, but I really dislike the taste of the Quran. So you draw your own conclusions. I know logic is very complicated for you, but if you take a beginner's level course in logic, you'll find that those two statements put together lead to the conclusion that the Quran is not truth.
And Andrew Martin says, "Oh, it doesn't pray. The word pray hides the word that was changed from remember."
Oh yeah, a little omission, lying on behalf of Allah is obligatory after all, because you can't have a God of truth in Islam. You have to have a God of lies. He even calls himself that. I mean, seriously, how much more blatant can you get?
Mark Fish has an interesting suggestion for us. Someone should make candy Qurans. I mean, I believe your wife would make a cake Quran. That's pretty close, but
I'll be making a cake Quran pretty soon. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Cakes are good. Cakes are tasty. I know that we made that on L's channel. It's cake, a Quran in the shape of a cake. That was actually pretty tasty. Or a cake in the shape of a Quran, actually. It was pretty tasty. It was nice. She did a really elaborate artwork on that. That was fantastic. Might have to do that again. Who knows? There are so many options. So many.
Yeah, I hear that the Quran has a very monumental birthday coming up here shortly.
Well, it should be a fun time. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So I am about done playing with you, Nadir, there. Come on. Step up, step down. This is your last option. I've been nice. I've actually been extremely patient with you. Step up or step down. Come show me how Jesus prayed to Allah. And don't say, well, you said the Father, he prayed to the Father. Allah is the Father of no one. Don't try to pull that. That's garbage. That's Ali Dawah stupid. Okay? We don't do that garbage. Okay? Let's just be truthful here.
We do have a new Muslim, I assume. Corona 2020 says, Muslims people not love LGBT bad. Well, I don't really care what Muslims people feel. Maybe, I'd say probably you personally at least don't like LGBT. However, we need to see what Muhammad and Islamic history thought about this matter, and they were both perfectly fine with this kind of behavior. So whether you are fine with it or not is irrelevant. Your prophet loved it, and Islamic history is full of it. So we are here to celebrate the LGBT prophet during almost Gay Pride Month. So there you go.
Oh, and of course, the Muslim Nadir went exactly to where he shouldn't and stepped on a landmine. He just called the Quran a lie. Because according to the Quran, Allah is a father and no one. You need to stop listening to Ali Dawah and actually read your sources yourself. Because let's be honest, this is just embarrassing and you would not have fallen into this. Jesus could not have prayed to Allah because Allah is a father to no one in any sense of the word. And he's very clear. He says that over and over in the Quran. And you guys just seem to want to run to that as if it is the truth.
I also don't recall Jesus asking for guidance.
Nope.
No, he never did.
I mean, he communicated with the Father, and communication with God is by definition prayer. So yes, he prayed. But he didn't ask for guidance. He didn't ask for God's secret will to be revealed or something like that. He didn't ask to work miracles through the permission of Allah. Nope, none of that happened in the Bible.
Well, what's really interesting is that through the permission of Allah, I can ask Allah for permission to fly. And even with his permission, I can't do it if I do not also have the ability. He does not ask for the ability. He only asks for the permission. Why is that? Because in the Quran, he natively has the ability. Why? Because Muhammad accidentally copied from some material in which Jesus was only God and was not a man at all, and incorporated some of that doctrine accidentally into the Quran, making it a total idiotic mess that it is. And also, goodness, Also, you know that Muhammad, we believe in the real Muhammad. We respect him more than Muslims do because we believe in the Muhammad who taught the Trinity, triunity of God, and who was a true and faithful Christian. But then the Quran was corrupted by the evil Uthman, and now you have this disgusting, corrupted book that you follow. But we love the real Muhammad who really taught true Christianity and was a true Christian, and you don't. You believe in Uthman's fake Muhammad.
And we also validate Muhammad's sexual identity as he desired to perform it. And he is firmly one of the LGBTQ community, according
Emphasis
to
on the
Hadith.
Q. Very much Q.
Hey, every Muslim loves the LGBTQ community because Muhammad is one, and everyone in Islam is told to be either transgender or gay or bisexual or whatever in order to emulate Muhammad's decrees and how he acted. Again, it's an open call-in. We've been here for almost an hour and a half, and not a single Muslim wants to refute this. So I would have to come to the conclusion that it is obvious that every Muslim knows this is true and can't stand the concept of refuting their own prophet.
Now we have another guy who's decided to come up and go, but do you know Arabic? Oh my goodness.
No Muslim has ever said that, Mary. You just made that up.
Right after, about a half an hour ago, we had a Muslim saying, no Muslim would ever say that you have to know Arabic to know Islam. Now, I'm going to ask you what the Quran says about why the Quran is in Arabic. So why does the Quran say it's in Arabic? For whom did it come? And why is it in Arabic? So please answer that question. You are required, if you participate as a Muslim, you are required to interact at the least with the questions that we ask you. If not, I throw people in timeout.
Yep. So Mu'min, I would be fascinated to see. Maybe he speaks Arabic, maybe he doesn't. He said he did. Maybe he's one of the 10% of Muslims who do. I'm anxious to see whether he's going to throw the other 90% of Muslims under the bus, though, so that they can't be true Muslims. They can't know anything about Islam because they don't speak Arabic.
Oh, no. I hope he comes up here because I got some Arabic for him to translate here.
Come on up.
If he's actually truthful and he knows it, then he shouldn't have anything to fear from this Arabic that I have to translate.
We have some Arabic for you.
Thank you. Okay, great. So that who may understand. Awesome. He's answering the question. So we have who is understanding there, Mr. Arabic speaker?
See, he put it in Arabic thinking he would get you, but it didn't work.
It sounds like you have.
Who is in view in that verse? Good job quoting the verse. Now, who is in view?
Who needs to understand it? Are the Indonesians going to understand it? Is it in Arabic so that Indonesians understand? Is it in Arabic so that Germans understand? Is it in Arabic so that Berbers understand, or Egyptians, or Greeks, or Turks?
That might be a while before he figures that out.
Well, there is a delay as well.
That is true.
Maybe we'll get some answer. I mean, he's at least interacted with the question.
Yeah, awesome. I credit you that you have actually replied to a question that we gave, because most Muslims just try desperately not to reply to any question that is given to them.
And come up and talk to us. All right. Let's have a nice conversation. It'll be as friendly as you allow it to be.
And
Mhm.
actually, what it actually says is that perhaps you may understand is one of the funny things. It doesn't even say so that you understand, so that it's like so that perhaps you might understand, which cracks me up.
Well, you can't expect Allah to be consistent, right?
Well, you see, it perhaps includes understanding,
But it also
right?
includes maybe not understanding, which is even
Shh,
funnier.
shh, shh. Well, I mean, in fairness to the Quran, just because you know what the words mean doesn't mean you understand it. It is very complicated like that. Some would even say incoherent like that. Now, the Quran does claim that it's perfectly clear and explains itself in detail, but the Quran also says that it's not perfectly clear and that people don't understand it. So we can assume that we don't understand what it means when it says it's perfectly clear.
You're not replying and not giving actual answers anymore, dude. You need to
Dang,
actually
his
answer
little
my
statement
question.
about the Sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs. I mean, seriously, dude. So now you got to not only follow the Sunnah of Muhammad, but the Sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs.
Yes, he did say that.
Muhammad always expands.
He did
Islam
say that
always expands.
when the
Jeez.
word maybe is used in the Quran, that it means it will definitely lead to that thing. Yes, that is how the interpretation is given now, because it's too embarrassing for it to actually mean what it really means, which is perhaps, maybe, it might be that. Yes, that is one of those miracles of reinterpretation where you pretend that a word means something other than what it means. In fact, the opposite, literally the opposite. So,
I mean, it could probably not, but it could be a rhetorical device. We do use the word
oh,
perhaps that way sometimes in English, so maybe they could have used it that way in Arabic in the 6th century.
it would
I don't
not be
know.
very clear, would it? And it's only
No, it would
supposed to
be
be in
very
the
clear.
Quran that it is that has this device. So hang on, let me find.
Oh, Nadir
I do
finally
not
is
have.
deciding to go pray again. Considering he told me like half an hour ago he was going to go pray.
All
He's going
right.
to go pray again.
Can I copy
Well,
this?
I mean, he's probably feeling repentant now that he's seen
Oh,
Quran on my
I mean,
tongue.
he's
No.
caused the
Ah,
Quran to be ripped up, to be eaten. I mean, he's got a lot to
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, hey,
make sure that you don't talk to Muhammad in your prayers, because that would be praying to him. You can't pray and say, "Oh, prophet." Can't do
That'd
it.
be a direct
I
address.
just want to say that today we made Nader a better Muslim, right? Because he probably doesn't normally pray, but he's been very motivated by seeing what we have done to his holy book today to go and pray and ask Muhammad for forgiveness for his actions. So we've made him a better Muslim today. You can thank us later for that, Nader. Or even better yet, you can go and think about it. You can think about what was actually said, get over your childish spamming of laughing emojis, and then you'll really want to thank us for revealing how obviously false and pathetic your God is. And by
Good.
your
Yes.
God, I mean Muhammad.
If you want to refute us, I mean, I don't know how much more clear I can put this, right? I don't know how much more easy I can make this. Where you click the link, you connect it with YouTube. I don't see the YouTube information or Facebook information. It's just a verification that you are a live individual and not some spam garbage caller. And then you join whatever name you want to use, you can use when you join. And we have a conversation. You just have to address the topic of this live stream. And we'll go from there. But no. Yep, he's going to go pray again. He prays
Again.
more than 5 times a day because, man alive. Or he's just waiting to the last possible second to pray 5 times a day. Of course, that's not in the Quran.
He's going to offer a prayer for each of us. Well, I appreciate that. All
appreciate
serious here, not a joke. I appreciate you wanting to pray for us.
And maybe Muhammad
May I
may
add a request? Will you pray for the truth? Will you pray to be guided to the truth? If you already have the truth, you have nothing to worry about there. So why not, right? I promise you that I will, as I do nearly every day, pray to the true God to guide me to the truth today. I request you do the same thing when you go and pray.
And amen to this comment. Absolutely.
So if we turn away from just the "so that you may understand" verse about why the Quran is in Arabic, it is in Arabic. Why? If we had appointed a reading or a declamation or a Quran or whatever in a foreign tongue, they would have assuredly said, if only its verses were laid out clearly. What? A foreign tongue and an Arab? Say unto them, for those who believe, it is a guidance and healing. As for those who disbelieve, there is deafness in their ears, and it is blindness for them. Such are called from afar. So, the reason that it's in Arabic is so that those who are listening to it, who are Arabs, will understand it. So it is Arabic for the Arabs. So, yes, I mean, yes, indeed, it does affirm, the Quran also affirms that Christians who have the scriptures have the exact same thing that the Quran says at the time of Muhammad. And so they are all on guidance. That is true. So Christians, according to the Quran, are in fact on guidance. Not only that, but Allah has just chosen to give them different ways. For each ummah, there is a different path, a different way, and that you are to compete in virtue. Mm-hmm. It is right here in this little Quran, very clearly laid out, that in fact, Christians are to follow the Injil, and that the Injil clearly says exactly what the Quran says, and that is why the Quran is true. Because the Quran is true because it has in it exactly what is in the Torah and the Injil, according to it itself. And it is only in Arabic so that the Arabs can understand it, because they can't understand other things.
Sorry, this is so silly, but so Jack Ray gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for that, Jack. But I was laughing because Jack Ray was gifted a membership by Jack Ray. So it picks 5 people at random, right? When you get 5 memberships.
Gifted himself. That's hilarious.
And it picked himself.
The YouTube algorithm. Isn't it wonderful, guys? It knows exactly what it is doing. We don't question the YouTube algorithm. Okay, guys, just to let you guys know, we do have, this is an open call-in. We also have, since we've now have it set up, we do have the Ohio conference coming up that some of us will be speaking at. Actually, all of us on this panel will be speaking at. That's nice. For I think it's the 11th through the 12th through the 14th of July. And you can click, the link is in the description to click on some free tickets. We'll also be doing a fundraiser later for that if you guys feel the need to donate. But everything else is free. We try to keep it as free as possible. So.
But we're all just about the views and the dollarship here on this channel.
Oh, yes. We're doing a poor job at that.
Yeah, I always tell when Muslims try to make comments like that, I'm always like, that I must be the dumbest guy in the world, right? Because here I am putting in 20 hours, 40 hours a week to get paid less than $100. Oh, yeah. Great use of my time there if I'm all about money and views. Of course, that's not what it's about at all. But we do appreciate the donations because they help a little bit to justify spending all the time and effort. But really, we're spending that time and effort because we want to see Muslims come to the truth and save their souls from hell.
Yes, after all, give a loan to Allah. Isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the Muslim Dawahists who are always panhandling. Immediately, I don't know how many times I've watched Ali Dawa's videos or Muhammad Ajab's, and that's the first thing they always speak of, and it's like, I don't think those cost as much as you're claiming they cost. Yeah, I think you're getting a bit of a cut.
But if you don't donate now, all of our work is going to come to an end.
Well,
Yeah.
I get is I get Ali Dalwas, right? He runs his donations, and then as soon as he acts like it's the greatest thing, if they just hit this one arbitrary number, if we just hit it, and as soon as he hits it, it's like, okay, it'd be really okay. We're just X amount away from this next arbitrary number. I'm like, dude,
Guys,
this is just a never-ending span.
We really need $7,000 to fund our ministry for this month. Please help us out. We need $7,000 before this live stream ends. Gets 7,000. Guys, we really need $8,000 to fund our ministry for this month. Why are you not stepping up? Allah needs you. We need that $1,000. Come on, guys.
Oh man. And again, I don't have any problem with him fundraising for wherever he wants to fundraise, but man, don't constantly move the goalposts like that. Come on. That's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, ask for what you actually need, right? If you need $10,000, and I don't know why you would need $10,000, but if you need $10,000, then ask for $10,000, right? Don't be like, oh, well, I need 5,000. No, I need 6. No, I need 7. No, I need 8. And then it just continues to arbitrarily increase as long as donations continue to come in. I'm sorry, but that makes it look like, well, you're just interested in the dollars. And maybe the views, I don't know, maybe the views, but mostly the dollars. And it just smacks of pathetic desperation, almost like Ali Dawah doesn't actually believe in Allah at all. And he just knows that he can suck gullible Muslims dry through their donations.
Again, if you need donations for something, fine. I have no problem with that. It's just whenever you're doing it like that, it seems very scammy, guys. Just be aware. Again, if you believe in the cause, it's your money. You decide what you want to do with your money.
And to be clear, I don't have any problem with any Muslim raising money, right?
Just be aware and don't get scammed.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are Muslims who only raise the money they need. And I'm sure there's other Muslims who try to get rich. And, well, I can tell you one that definitely is interested in getting rich because he's already phenomenally rich and still asking for donations. And that's Zakir Naik. According to the Indian authorities, when they issued a warrant for his arrest, they seized $42 million of his property, which supposedly was funded exclusively from zakat donations. Why did he buy $42 million of property with zakat for the poor? Well, I would say that indicates that he's not so interested in Islam. He's only interested in getting wealthy. But, he's your hero. He's the champion of Islam, or maybe you've thrown him under the bus. I mean, most Muslims have thrown him under the bus. He gets barely any views these days. Just saying, there's plenty of scammers out there. There's plenty of so-called Christians who are just in it for money and scamming as well. So I'm not saying it's a Muslim problem per se. Just saying, think about what you're doing before you donate to someone. Anyone.
We're proud of that. Yeah.
Nice.
So going back to the topic, Muslims who are in the chat, oh, there we go. Finally. It's been a while. Where are you guys? Come on. We are literally pointing out that Muhammad did things that were so horrendously wrong, according to Islam, that he should have been executed for.
Hey, so we actually do have a challenge here. It's not on topic, but Mu'min says, so who does it go back to? That's my question. The tafsir, who does most of it go back to? I'll be very impressed if you know. Well, that's interesting that he would say the tafsir, because tafsir, of course, are commentary on the Quran. They don't have to go back to anyone besides the original author. But I assume he
was
means
responding to me because right? I was posting about 7431, and he's going, oh, well, since this particular one, since I'm not directly citing Sahaba, it doesn't matter. Sweetheart, you're telling me how Islam is done.
We're not trying
you
to
are telling me how Islam is done and that I am doing it wrong. Muhammad, these are what I put in my quotes after studying Al-Tabari, Ibn Kathir, and Al-Suyuti, and I also pulled up Al-Qurtubi as well. This is what I put in my own notes. I am not running directly to the Tafsir. Now, if you're telling me that Al-Suyuti is an idiot and doesn't know Islam and is doing things wrong, you tell me. Tell me right now that the authoritative opinion of Al-Qurtubi, Al-Suyuti, Al-Tabari, and Ibn Kathir is wrong and they don't know Islam because they did not record any variant traditions. And the Tafsir are structured in such a way that they will give minority opinions and then they will give the majority opinion afterwards and make it clear which one, they essentially ascribe to.
Mhm.
So if you're telling me that they do Islamic studies wrong and you do it correctly, go ahead and say that.
Yeah,
Tell
well,
me that Ibn
there's
Kathir
some
does
extreme
not
irony
know
here, right?
about Surah 74 and you do.
Well, there's some extreme irony because he says you're trying to avoid my question, but he hasn't actually. His so-called answers, right, are in the form of questions, a form of allusions, because he doesn't want to answer your questions.
No, he needs to tell me
And
what
his question that we supposedly are trying not to answer wasn't actually clear enough to give an answer because he says, "Who does it all go back to?" Well, what do you mean?
he wants me to look up what exact Sahaba is in a particular chain.
Right. So
And
he means
I'm
a
not
particular.
gonna do that right now because I don't have time.
Well, no, he said I asked who does
Wait,
the
who
majority
does
of
the majority of Tafsir go back to? They go back to Muhammad. What do you mean?
Well, I
The
mean,
majority
so
of the
there's the
Tafsir
reality.
goes back to things ascribed to Muhammad, whether or not Muslims lied and made things up.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is no one knows who it goes back to because we know for certain that the chains are made up nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as the chains that are supposed to be authoritative, well, I shouldn't say have to because there are some exceptions, but generally they supposedly go back to Muhammad. Now, Muhammad isn't the first name in the chain. It'll be someone else, right? It'll be so-and-so said that Muhammad said. It won't be Muhammad told so-and-so who told so-and-so. But it's supposedly all sayings of Muhammad with, maybe 5% exceptions that aren't sayings of Muhammad. Is that the answer you wanted?
This is not Israelite, just so you know. This is not traditions of Jews do not have traditions concerning the 19 angels. This is not Israelite. In fact, this does not exist. No, my not knowing does not show my ignorance on the topic. I cited the most important early scholars
So what he
were
wants
emphasized in the
Mary,
Tafsir.
I think he actually wants a trivia question.
Yeah,
Right?
he wants a
wants
trivia
a
question. I'm not going to look it up again just for him. I didn't put it in my notes because Ibn Kathir and
It's
Al-Tabari
totally irrelevant,
and
right?
Al-Suyuti and Al-Qurtubi didn't think that it was particularly important, and they didn't highlight it.
What is the most common word in Surah 74? If you don't know the answer to it, it means you don't know anything.
So
that's
again,
the level of your question. It's a stupid trivia question. It has nothing to do with the content.
Is Al-Qurtubi wrong about 7431? Is he wrong or is he right? Is Al-Suyuti an idiot? Does he not know what he's talking about? Is Ibn Kathir and Al-Tabari, are they all wrong? That is what you have to deal with. Either all your exegetes are wrong, or that is the explanation. There is no alternatives in these sources. There is no alternative explanation. A lot of times in the Tafsir, they will have minority opinions. There are none. This is the ijma of the meaning of this passage.
So
please.
Who does Sahih Bukhari 12:12 go back to without looking it up? And yes, I just picked an arbitrary number. Who does it go back to? That's what you're expecting us to have memorized in order to be able to talk about something. would you consider this an art? Let's say you were trying to, you probably don't have the guts to actually do this and try to do dawah on the street, but let's say you were talking to someone on the street doing dawah, a Christian, and you tried to tell them that the Christians believe in 3 gods, and they said, yes, but who wrote the epistle dated to the year 98? I couldn't say the title, because then the title tells you the author. That is the level. And you say, I don't freaking know. What does that have to do with anything? Exactly. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
So what you're left with is either your exegetes are all wrong and your tafsir, because you specifically asked me about tafsir. You said, find tafsir. I believe what the tafsir say. And now you're like, answer my trivia question. No, I'm not going to look it up for you. Sorry. I don't care that much. I'm not spending that time right now. Yes, I can find it because I found this in the first place. This is my work. I didn't copy paste this from anywhere else. I opened up Ibn Kathir. I opened up Al-Tabari. I opened up Al-Qurtubi. I opened up Al-Suyuti.
But you didn't memorize every single word.
I looked up the words, and it took me time, but I did it.
But Mary, you didn't memorize every word in the supposed hadith chain, and therefore you don't know anything about the passage, and you can't speak on it. Now, of course, our friend almost certainly doesn't know. And if he does know, it's because he looked it up right now.
Yep.
So they could ask the question. He certainly didn't know before this stream, because even hadith scholars wouldn't memorize that kind of information. It would be stupid.
No, they write it. They have it written down.
Yeah, but in order to be an expert, you need to make sure that you know everything.
And yeah, yep.
So let me just ask my panel the poll we've been having go on this entire time. Under Islamic law, so that's Sharia, what is the punishment for being LGBTQ? So what would be that punishment? And I had 4 options there: execution, imprisonment, a fine, or none. Islam is pro-LGBTQ. What would you 2 say to that?
Well, I guess we would have to have some clarification, since there are different schools of jurisprudence, different schools of Sharia, if you like. However, according to the majority dominant opinions, the punishment would be execution. So there might be some obscure school somewhere that says something different, but they all seem to say execution, even though it's never been practiced historically, as near as I can tell.
So we have someone say, let us do what we want. Killing people, I'm not going to let you kill people.
Okay, snake in the garden.
I'm not going to let you kill people.
Be gay on your own country. Well, I don't want to be gay, but if you want to be gay, go right ahead.
According to, but Muhammad was gay, and you're called to be like Muhammad, right? So if being gay is bad, then Muhammad is bad. If being gay is good, then why aren't you being like Muhammad? See, in my opinion, homosexuality is a sin just like any other sin out there, and it is wrong. According to Islam, it is a major sin, and Muhammad's over there doing it. So, yeah, bit of an issue there.
Don't disrespect our prophet. Well, I will disrespect your false, pathetic, disgusting prophet who worships the devil.
We're not disrespecting him. He was a gay prophet. It's very simple. According to the hadith, he was a drag queen. He dressed in drag a lot. In fact, even to get revelations, he dressed in drag, and he would suck on little boys. It's very simple. Very simple. And I just respect his decisions there, right?
Yeah, you
I
want him
disagree
to...
with them. I don't think it was right. But hey, if you guys say it's reliable, then okay, it's reliable.
Yeah, and in the words of Abdul Rahman himself, Muhammad can be gay in his own country.
Which should be all the countries, actually, according to Islam. So Muhammad could be gay everywhere.
So Abdul, shut up, please. Well, why don't you come up here?
You can come
We will
up here
continue
and
to-
refute
we will-
us.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Here's the deal. We'll continue to insult Muhammad or tell the truth about him until you come up here and have a discussion with us. You won't want us to talk about Muhammad's sexual desires for males, then come up here and refute us. Then we want to talk about it ever again. You come up here and you show us that we're wrong. We're honest people. We will not use an argument that we know to be false. I know that's what your Dawa boys do, but that's not how we operate. So you show us the argument's false, and we will shut up not just for today, but we will shut up permanently about that particular argument. Very simple.
I mean, there's also, we've also got someone bringing up, necrophilia, which also Muhammad participated in, as well as bestiality whenever his wives weren't available. So, and he also went for the young camels, male and female. So, yeah, there's a bit of that homosexual act as well. Again, not endorsing it, just saying there seems to be a big inconsistency here. If Muhammad, the ideal, according to Islam, is doing something so horrendous that it would get someone else executed if they were to perform the same acts in Islamic countries. So, bit of an issue there.
I think that we should pronounce it Satan-Allah. There we go.
Satan-Allah.
Satan-Allah.
So, nope, Allah is gay too. Yes. There's also evidence of Allah being gay and giving what would be considered hand job to Adam. So
I'm not convinced of that, actually, because Allah supposedly has a womb, so I think he might be both male and female.
So
but your womb doesn't normally walk around. He has a primordial, sentient, ambulatory womb. So his womb is able to walk around and talk and grab onto his parts.
Yes, but do any hadith say that Allah has a penis? Because we know that if no hadith says it, you can't say it.
He has semen, so he must have a penis.
No.
Well,
I wouldn't make assumptions.
That's true. He definitely has gonads.
I wouldn't make assumptions.
He has gonads. He may or may not have
gonads. Them. Yeah, you can have gonads without the rest of the
maybe
equipment.
He has an inverted penis, which would form a vagina and then a uterus, and that is why he has a walking primordial womb, who grabs him by the hips and demands to be given a boon, and he obeys. He obeys the womb that grabs him, the walking uterus.
And we got Adam Seeker in the comments. Yep, I'm agreeing with you. Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that we can't assume Allah's gender.
Well, he keeps calling himself him, so I'm assuming.
Well, he also calls himself we. So
maybe split personality disorder. Who knows? We got a stack of things that this could be.
And I think Allah even calls himself you a couple times. He uses the second person to describe himself. So
sometimes he uses third person too. He says he about himself without say in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
He never calls himself they or she, however. That is true.
So that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that based upon what was said, and we have to only go with what Allah has said, right? So we can't just make.
It does not. it does not say, well, he definitely has male private parts because the womb grabs him by them, but it doesn't I don't think it spells out what those private parts are in precision. But remember that on the day of resurrection, to raise everyone from the dead, according to Islam, what happens is that Allah sends down semen from his throne upon the earth to fertilize the bones and raise them from the dead.
So hold on. I know we should never do this, but applying logic here, if Allah is providing the semen, does that make the bones eggs? So does that make the dead human beings the female version of Allah?
Well, remember that Allah doesn't know about eggs.
Well,
Allah
we
knows
do.
about what Allah knows about is that you have a substance from the woman equivalent to blood. So that gives you the substance equivalent to blood that then mixes with it. So we are of the same species as Allah to be able to, but we produce ourselves from that somehow. That produces us again.
Also,
so I'm just trying to follow the logic here. So Allah's semen
Mhm.
plus human blood equals a live human. Yes? Sort of?
Well, yes. No, I'm saying Adam Seeker. I am saying that that's after the judgment. When we're dead, we got dead bones, and we get our bodies back through his semen plus our bones as a substance. But apparently, we need semen again to.
Yeah, well, I think the point here, right, was that we're trying to figure out what kind of creature Allah is.
Yeah.
And this is strong evidence that he is male in a way unlike human beings, because he's totally different, even though he's described exactly like a human being. He's totally different.
You know why you can't hit people in the face? And in Islam, you shouldn't strike someone in the face because we have Allah's face, because we are made. That's what being made in the image of Allah means. So we have a face just like Allah.
But we can't imagine what he looks like, except that every Muslim will recognize him on the Day of Judgment.
Well, they recognize his shin. They don't recognize his face.
True.
He has a very recognizable shin. That's how I recognize people. Allah will appear in a form that people will recognize him by revealing his shin. And I swear, whenever I found out what that was stolen from, I lost my mind because it was so funny.
Oh boy. So would that make all after the Day of Judgment? Would that make everyone else his children then?
I suppose it would. One would think.
So you be a daddy after all. You are the father.
If it is his semen that resurrects everyone, how could he not be a father?
Maybe it's just like Muhammad's spittle. It protects you from hellfire through magic powers. It isn't actually making you be the equivalent of a fertilized egg, even though Allah doesn't know about eggs. Sorry, it's just really hard to logic this out because it's so absurd.
So in other words, guys, so far we have put a challenge out there saying, hey, Muhammad was gay. We have, at least he acted in very homosexual acts. We have yet to hear from one Muslim, although we have had many in the chat, many in the chat. And we have yet to see one of them come up here and give any sort of pushback at all. That leaves me to only one conclusion, that they know that Muhammad is gay and they have no issue with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's really funny?
Hold on. I want to address this question from Mahmoud before we get too far. He says, Allah also said to respect other religions and don't insult them, so they don't insult your religion too, which is correct. Unlike most Muslims, he actually is correct on that. That's what we referenced earlier when we explained why we were destroying a Quran. And then he said, your religion clearly lacks this and morals. Now, Mahmoud, the Quran does say not to insult other religions, lest they insult Islam. However, you're not thinking about this logically. You're concluding that this is because insulting other religions is inherently immoral. But actually, it's because it's immoral because it causes insult to come upon Islam. If you actually think that it's immoral to insult a religion, then you need to have a talk with Allah, because he insults Jews, he insults Christians, he insults polytheists. You need to have a talk with Muhammad. According to his own people, they had never seen anyone in their whole life who insulted their religion as much as Muhammad did. So apparently, according to you, Allah lacked religion and morals. All right, Mary, what are you going to say?
On top of that, hold on. On top of that, just want to point out one more thing. Just answer me this. Answer me. I'm asking the person in the comments. What happened to the over 300 idols? What did Muhammad do to those when he took over the Kaaba? What happened to those idols in there? Was Muhammad respectful to those idols? Or was he disrespectful to those idols? And if you're saying that it is wrong to be disrespectful, if he were to act in a disrespectful manner, you're calling him wrong. So there, go ahead.
We also, someone posted a particularly funny...
I think that's Truth Defenders.
Yeah, a particularly funny hadith. The Prophet cursed effeminate men, those who assumed the manners of women, and those women who assumed the manners of men, and he said, turn them out of your houses. Then the Prophet turned out such and such a man, and Umar turned out such and such a woman. So they had these people in their houses. Now, the background to this was that he found one of these effeminate men after the so one of the effeminate men, they had revealed the veiling verse, so men weren't supposed to look at women anymore. And yet there was this effeminate man who was describing the bodies of women to other men. And then Muhammad heard about this and then got mad and said, kick them out of the house and don't let them look at the women. So what this shows is that he had no problem with them until one of them started describing the body of a woman in the presence of men. And this also shows quite clearly how Muhammad couldn't know things through Allah. He found out things through the normal way, through rumors, through overhearing, through hearing echoes of things.
Adam Seeker in there in the chat. That's funny. Fine. Sorry. Oh, so yes. On top of that, going back to the idols, since I haven't seen your response, go ahead and pull this reference on up. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, 4720. And in this, Muhammad started hitting the idols with a stick that was in his hand. This is after he has taken over and he now controls Mecca. And eventually those idols are all destroyed. He is there saying truth has come and falsehood vanished. So yes, that is not very respectful. So if you're saying
I was going to say, just to clarify, Eric, do you have any problem with Muhammad's morals in this particular story?
Actually, no.
You're not bringing this up because as a critique of Muhammad. Why are you bringing this up then?
My critique would be on the rejection that Muslims have to doing anything disrespectful to their religion, either by teaching what the hadith actually say, or teaching what the Quran says, or tearing up, or in some cases, shooting the Quran.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, according to Muhammad's actions, I am acting like Muhammad did when he took over Mecca and how he treated the false idols.
Okay, let us give the background for Muhammad taking over Mecca. Muhammad had barricaded Mecca so that they couldn't get any food. and had been doing this for some time, probably since the treaty that it had in like 627, and had been cranking down this, or 628, and he'd been cranking down this barricade, this boycott against them, and preventing them from getting any food. And people came to Muhammad and said, "Are you going to starve your own relatives? You've insulted their gods. Now you're starving them." So they are close to dying of starvation by the time he arrives in Mecca. And when he comes, he says, "You may fight and slaughter people in Mecca." And he gives an ultimatum against these people who are very, very weak from starvation. Either you convert to Islam or you be slaughtered. He also made a list of people who were to be killed even if they accepted Islam. So these are those who will be slaughtered, even if they are clinging to the curtains of the Kaaba. Kill them because they insulted me. A few of them ran away and actually managed to escape. Most of them were slaughtered. One of them begged to be forgiven, and Muhammad made faces at him, but the Sahaba misinterpreted the faces and thought he was being merciful and said, "Oh, well, I guess we'll let you go." And then Muhammad was mad at them. "Couldn't you tell that I wanted you to kill him?" They're like, "Why didn't you say?" "Well, I thought that you would know my face, that I meant to kill him." So that is what actually happened. These people were starving to death, could mount very little defense. There was some fighting, but very little, and they gave up.
So again,
So,
his response here was that when he entered, it was peaceful, without war. Dude,
well,
no,
apparently everyone
he
had already
marched on
converted.
them with supposedly 10,000 warriors. He was coming to kill anyone who resisted, but they were weak from starvation, so very few resisted.
And again, yeah, that's very clear in the hadith right here. It is in the year of the conquest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do a conquest without war.
And
right,
yes,
so
we got a call in, actually. Unfortunately, this is not a Muslim, but he's more than welcome to join the stream to give his perspective on this. I think it'll be very valuable. Welcome, Adam Seeker.
Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you guys?
A little frustrated.
We are awesome. So this goofball says that because what is his face? The ancestor of the second caliphate after the rightly guided caliphs, because he wasn't killed, then Muhammad didn't really want anybody killed. And had not ordered people to be slaughtered. So here we go. Here are the Meccan 10. When Muhammad conquered Mecca, he gave orders for the execution of 10 people. Now, of course, our buddy who was a relative of Uthman, actually, who wasn't killed, entered Islam because he was politically important. He was extremely influential, and the Meccans would have been extremely angry.
Are you talking about Saad bin Abi Sarah?
Hmm?
Are you talking about Saad bin Abi Sarah?
No, I don't know why my the Umayyad guy, the guy who was
Mahmud called him Hind. I don't know if
no, that was the wife. His wife was named Hind, and she like
Hinda. You mean the husband of Hinda?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Muhammad married this daughter of Hinda, and that's how. So he was like, okay, let me marry your daughter, and I will let you go. And then obviously Muhammad married the daughter of Hinda, and that's why he let them go, and that's it. So that's the end of story. The only guy that he actually allowed to live was Ibn Saad bin Abi Sarah. Hinda case is very easy because he married her daughter. The problem was Saad bin Abi Sarah because in the hadith and everything. Saad, he was the cousin of Umar, and Umar or Uthman, I'm mistaken right now maybe, but one of the two. And they said forgive him, and he was turning around his and then that's it. So that was the only guy who was, and he ordered the killing of 14 people, basically 12 people, but 2 were the girls, and somebody came up and said these girls are also talking bad about you in songs, so he killed that as well. That's in Sirat Nabi Ibn Kasir after the Fateh Makkah chapter, conquest of Makkah chapter, the very next page, and you will see all of these people that he ordered to be killed. But let's go back to the gay thing. That's very important. And I came in for that. There's a clear hadith where Muhammad was a backside gay as well, not the front side gay. This is Musnad Imam Ahmad.
Yep. Yeah, he
You won't
definitely
find that
was.
in Sahih Sunnah.com because they have not placed all the hadiths of Musnad Imam Ahmad there, Ibn Hanbal. So it's shared if you want to show it.
Oh, absolutely right here.
This is Musnad Imam Ahmad, and it is from islamweb.net. Uh, the link I will share it to you guys in the private chat because I do not have the permission for the live chat. So here it is in the private chat. You ask for it. Let's translate it to Google Translator because obviously none of you can read Arabic. So I'm going to do Google translation. And it says that Hermes bin Al Hussein told us on the authority of Vagara Vagara Vagara, on the authority of Vagara 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 Vagara, that Waki, who said, I asked permission from the Prophet that may Allah be pleased with him and bless him, and prayers will be on him. May I enter between you and your shirt? So he went inside the shirt of Holy Prophet. Okay. And then he said, so I said, O Messenger of Allah, what is the thing that is not permissible to prevent? And he said, water, ma, in Arabic, ma. So if you look at the Quran and the Hadith, every time they are talking about semen, they are talking about ma. Like not every time. In Hadith, there are certain times money is also mentioned clearly, but most of the time it's ma. Quran, it's always about ma, which is water. I said, O Messenger of God, what is that thing is not permissible to prevent it? He said, the water. I said, O Messenger of God, what is thing that is not permissible to prevent? He said, to do good is better for you. Alhamdulillah. So he was enjoying him from the backside while getting inside his shirt. And back in those days, you were just wearing a shirt. There was no underwear over there, and it was a light, loose shirt that you were wearing. What do you have to say now? Is Muhammad gay or not?
That sounds a little gay.
Just
Just
a
say, just
little.
a little. Just a little.
Just a little. Are you sure it's just a little?
I mean, if guys, if you're in doubt about this, just think about what would happen to a guy if you're in a Muslim nation that would do the same thing in public. What would happen? I don't think his life expectancy would be very long. But that's just me. That's just me.
All right. I'll give you another one. Hold on. Let me give you another one. This is almaktab.org, and I'm giving you the links of the Al-Maktab as well. This is Faris Kitab is Mutaddi al-Tahrij with Darsat al-Sana. And let's just go to English, and then let's go to shirt. Let's find shirt here. All right. My father asked the Prophet, may God prayers and peace be upon him, for permission. So he came between him and his shirt, inside him and his shirt. So he began to accept and adhere. He began to accept and adhere. Then he said, O Prophet of God, what is the thing that is not permissible to be prevented? He said, water. He said, O Prophet, what is the thing that is not permissible to be prevented? He said, salt. He said, Oh Prophet, what is the thing that is not permissible to prevent? He said, doing good is good. So he is talking about salty water, man. Uh, I'm not saying that. This is what the Hadith is saying. So don't blame me. I'm not a blasphemer
Just
of
reading
Prophet
what's
Muhammad.
there.
Exactly.
Because we
Anyone
do.
who says the Arabic doesn't say that, let's go back. And it's right there. ثم قال يا نبي الله ما الشيء الذي لا يحلي منع قال الماء قال يا نبي الله ما الشيء الذي لا يحلي منع قال الملح namkeen water, the salty water. قال يا نبي الله ما الشيء الذي لا يحل منع قال أن تفعل الخير خير لك. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Subhanallah. There you go. The Arabic is here. Enjoy.
So we do have a caller here. I'm going to go ahead and let him join. We'll give him a couple of minutes. I'll ask a couple questions, give him a couple of minutes to give his stance, and then we'll open it up to the panel to go from there. So welcome.
Salam al-Masih.
Are you Muslim, Christian?
No,
What
he's
are you?
Salam
Christian.
al-Masih.
Salam al-Masih.
How are you? He's a Christian.
I'm gonna go ahead and hop off because I have like not eaten today.
Well, that's not
So
good. So go ahead
no.
and do that.
So
So
I
Mary,
will
you
talk to
got
you guys
the
later.
links already, right?
Yes, and you can post. By the way, you can post links in the live chat now.
How can I do that?
Fix that small issue. You should just be able
Oh,
to
you
post
made
it.
me a mod. Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
it
Let me
works.
just do that.
I think that was the
All right,
easiest way to do it.
there you go. The link is there for everyone to enjoy.
But I believe you also forgot a link about the people of Al-Zut.
Al-Zut? No, I did not forget that. But that was not him being gay. That was him being molested. So the people of
Oh,
Zut banged him all night long. So that's not him being gay. So I like the stream is that Muhammad was gay. Al-Zut actually molested him. So he was raped there. So I won't call him being gay. I'm sorry,
mm,
but
That,
that's something I
that's
won't
fair.
call to be gay.
That's fair. If he
okay.
doesn't have a choice, and now
But
if he goes back for round 2, well, then it's open. But round 1, okay. Now
Yeah,
if he
and
doesn't
they did that all night long. That's another problem. They did that all night long, and in the morning, Muhammad felt very heavy and in pain. So they literally molested him all night long, and they were pretty tall as well. So I'm sorry. Like,
he dropped the soap many times, by the way. I mean,
don't drop the soap.
and
yep.
there was
Oh
no soap
man.
involved. They did that dry.
Yeah, yeah. Soap is haram.
Yeah, they didn't use
Not
any
By the
good.
soap.
way,
That was all
guys,
dry.
does anyone have the reference of him actually kissing his cousin in the belly?
Oh, getting
That's
kissed
a
all over. I did have that.
Yeah, we were just looking at that a minute ago.
Yeah.
By the way, if we have some customers, please come in. We want to have a beautiful
I
discussion.
don't think any Muslim wants to step up. I've made posts in the community chat. I've made over here. We've been very open about it, letting you guys know. But okay, well, while we have a second here, I'm going to share something real quick. Just want to remind you guys because we've now got this up. So we are going to share this instead real quick. We have the Seek and Share Truth Conference coming up in Ohio that we're looking at attending there. So that should be fun. We'll have a bunch of speakers. We have David Wood, Anthony Rogers, Usama, me, some guy named Thaddeus,
Yeah,
El
don't go to that
Elohim,
one. Ugh.
and Mary, as well as a couple others that might be joining us. Truth Defenders might be able to join us, so he might be a speaker there, as well as Hatun. So she might be able to make it back for her second year, actually, which would be cool. So if you guys want the free tickets there, the link is in the description there. There's online as well as in person. Just let us know. We just need to get a head count. There's no cost to it. And we'll have a fundraiser going alongside this that will get up and running in case you guys want to help support this. So that is coming up. What? Hold up. What? Now, what do you mean? We have a conference in Ohio. We also have a conference in North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know what you want us to hold up about, right? Because get a little more specific. Do you want to post a link to that in the chat, though, for the people?
It is in the description, but I will go ahead and post the link as well. I know Elle posted it at the very beginning, but for some reason her link doesn't work for me, which is terribly inconvenient, but it is fine. It'll just be a little bit of a longer one.
Yeah, so he said, what now about Muhammad being graped?
Yeah.
Not in the Ali Dawah being graped way.
Yeah. No, not in the I want more stuff.
He was raped by his cousin as well when he was young, but that's a separate thing. But he was raped multiple times, and unfortunately, the poor guy went through very dramatic incidents. So, I want you gotta feel pity for this poor guy sometimes. It's up to you if you don't want to feel
He had a
pity. But
lot to overcome. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I mean,
overcome it in the
yeah,
wrong way. Overcame it in the
yeah.
wrong way. The link
I
is in
mean, this is
the live chat.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is actually the like when you actually look at his life story, you start to see why he became so evil because of the trauma that happened to him. I mean, his mother was a 304 basically. She was doing boom boom left and right, and it took her like 4 years to actually to have uh, her son Qutham, which is actually his real name was Qutham. And if you look at the dictionary about the meaning of Qutham, it's actually the excuse my language, but it is the shit that actually comes out of the horse. That actually was his real name, which is very very weird to have a name like that.
Yeah, so no, he did not have a good upbringing. He did not have a father. You can see that. You can seriously, if someone wants to do a psychological analysis on Muhammad, I think there's a lot you could see. He definitely has the domination desire over others, be them male or female. He definitely has the hatred of fatherhood. Although, for some reason, although he had multiple wives, he didn't want his beloved daughter to be married to someone with multiple wives because it would hurt her. Connect the dots. So we see that. And again, the only reason abrogation even makes any sense in Islam is if you are making this up by the seat of your pants and you didn't want to get caught with your pants down. That's by far,
And
that's one of the most obvious things to me that shows Islam is false.
and Abu Talib molested him when he was a little child of 6, 7 years as well. So Abu Talib molested him. His cousin raped him. He was raped by Al-Zut multiple times all night long. Um, a guy coming between his shirts and banging him from behind. So he was like a good old gay since childhood till all his life. So you just simply cannot deny the fact that he was a gay. Unfortunately, this gayhood comes from his childhood because started from his uncle Abu Talib, who took a hold of him when he was 7 years old, and he used to make him go naked and then make him sleep in his own bed. And he said that Muhammad was very soft and good smelling, like soft and good smelling. That's how it is written. And you grow up, and then his cousin molested him, and then finally they came in and started asking for apologies, and he said, if you want to forgive us, then me and my son will go and into the desert and die into oblivion, otherwise you have to forgive us, and then Muhammad forgives. Then he grows up, then he makes an inflation with a guy where he could come into his shirt and then enjoy. Then he had another friend that Muhammad really, really liked, and he used to go behind him, take hugs him, and that guy moves his back behind and pushes it back like a good sexy girl as well. So Muhammad was doing like both of these things. Like it's somehow I just I did another live stream this Saturday in Urdu showing all of these references. So it's just new in my mind at this moment, just really, really fresh in my mind.
Well, then I guess I got good timing then doing a very similar topic. I mean, it's Muhammad had it rough, right? He had the opportunity to overcome it. Instead, he gave into it. No wonder he led a war against his own people, his own family. He is a
Yep.
kin killer. He's a kinslayer. It's very simple. That's not an honorable title to have. It's kinslayer.
And he
Ugh.
loved Usama as well. Usama was one of his favorite guy. Um, he one day he got stabbed and he licked the blood off. And some people says licking is haram. That is why this hadith is wrong, not sahih. But then again, there are other hadiths which they proclaim to be sahih, in which the licking of the blood is not mentioned, but the rest of the thing is as mentioned. And Muhammad said, if Osama was a girl, I would have married him. So, there's so many things which tells us that Muhammad was an absolute gay man, no matter how you look at it.
And I think one of the things that's so telling about this, and I've mentioned this a couple times on stream, is we've had so many Muslims in the live chat, and not a single one of them said, "No, you're wrong. I'm coming up here to talk to you." And no one clicked that link. It's been posted the entire time. It's been posted in a link below. It has been posted quite often in the chat. Guys, that leads me to only one conclusion here. You know this. I know this. Muhammad's gay. Now, he did have women, so maybe bisexual would be a better definition, but he definitely did act gay in some regards.
And also, what's really sad is that we have about 1.9 billion people actually following this man. That's what really is sad, and it's very scary, to be honest with you.
Michael Gallagher said, "Are you pro-abortion?" I'm pro-choice. I'm the biggest pro-choice in the history of pro-choices ever. Give choice to the baby. He has his own choice, whether he
Wait,
wants
I
to
was
live or
waiting
die.
for that. I was like, I know where you stand, and that doesn't sound right. We'll see where this goes.
I'm the
Oh,
biggest
there we go.
pro-choice in the history of pro-choices. You know, that's the choice, man. Gotta give the choice, man.
Yep,
To
absolutely.
who? To the woman or to the
To
the
everyone,
child?
it's a choice is for everyone. Even the child should have the choice. You know.
Yep, absolutely. The child
Oh,
should have
okay,
the
I
choice and the
see.
opportunity to live.
I see. Now
Opportunity
I understand.
So, again, we've brought up multiple references. We've talked about Muslims praying to Muhammad. They had no way of refuting that. We've talked about Muhammad having sexual relationship with other males. Again, guys, the main reason why we're even covering this is because this is an inconsistency within Islam itself, where Islam says, hey, you need to execute these people who are being homosexual. By the way, the ideal man that everyone should be like, oh yeah, he did the same acts that you would be executed for.
But you haven't seen any executions happening in Islamic world for being gay, have you? Except for the few who was done by the terrorists, so-called, but they were not terrorists. They were Islam. They were doing Islamic Sharia. But have you seen any major killing done by Islamic countries for being gay?
Absolutely, throwing off rooftops is pretty bad.
Yeah, but like that
I've
was
had
terrorist,
some.
man. Those were
yeah.
terrorists. Those were terrorists.
And classify
They weren't
it.
agents of the state, right?
They weren't agents of the state, although Sharia law is very clear.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the
Execute
weird
them.
thing, right? Because throughout Islamic history, not just today, but throughout Islamic history, I don't see any evidence that gays were ever
Yeah.
executed.
So because that's the main reason, and that is why homosexuality is very predominant in all Islamic countries, because there's a reason. When a homosexuality is done with a girl, you can see because of a baby or because of other things that it has been done. Now, the problem is that Islam says that you need to bring 4 witnesses who would see the stick of the collyrium going inside the collyrium pot with your own eyes, and 4 people has to see it. So when this action is happening in an Islamic world, do you think these gays are banging another gay in front of at least 4 people who would see the collyrium stick going into the collyrium pot? No. So in reality, you can never punish them because you can never find 4 witnesses doing this action. You have to literally see the porn video before you can actually punish them in Islamic Sharia. And the Muhammad said, you actually have to see, this is not my word, this is Muhammad's word. You know, collyrium stick, there's a collyrium stick which with the females put it on their eyelashes. There's a stick which goes into the pot and you close it. Collyrium stick, search on the internet and you will see collyrium sticks. So you have to see this stick going inside the pot. If you have not seen that, you cannot punish him. This is the hadith, and search on the sunnah.com collyrium stick and you will find the hadiths. You have to see the action, the private part, the banana going inside the mango or whatever. I'm just trying to give words so that our our video won't go into G rating. So, you know, that is how you need to see it before you could punish him.
So
And 4 people have to see it.
quick question for you here, because I don't know what the reference to this hadith is. It says how a couple of Muslims freaking out about Mo laying on the floor and letting them pee on him.
I have no idea.
I have no clue. Believe me, I would definitely use that one if I knew it, but I've
Like
never seen
the golden shower of Mimi hijab, I have never seen that.
No, and again, I will give the benefit of the doubt, right? I'll still say, okay, maybe it probably didn't happen. If we cannot find the reference now, it might be somewhere still in Arabic that we have not.
Oh no no
seen
no no!
yet.
That's not okay. No no no. That's not okay. Now I see it. You are reading it wrong. So when Hassan or Hussein were babies, and we do that as
Oh,
well.
I see.
Like don't stop the baby from peeing because then it will have a pee infection. So it's not phase. He was in his lap and he started peeing, and Muhammad did not remove him. So that is like, come on, man, that's baby. Like, don't take everything in a negative sense. He was a baby in his lap at that particular time, and it was not golden shower. It was a baby peeing on his lap.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So
Sorry, as a father with some kids, I might have had that happen to me. Okay, it happens. It's part of having a kid. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So, nope, I don't. Yep.
yep, it has nothing to do with golden shower. Sorry.
And if it is the belief, if I was told by medical professions to say, hey, don't let them, don't stop them peeing or they might get an infection, and let them do it. I mean, I can take a
Yeah, it's
shower.
just pee. You can just wash yourself later on. Yeah, the
Simple enough.
problem with that hadith is that Muhammad said that um, the pee of a female, you have to go take shower and clean the clothes. Pee of a male boy is clean, so you don't have to take shower.
I
So
still take
that's
shower.
another problematic thing.
I still take
Let me
shower.
search. Let me search the hadith. Hold on. I know I have read that, so it is in sunnah.com. The urine.
Seriously, it's on student.com. They remove everything. They remove so many. I don't know how many times I've gone to there and found it on other websites, and you can't find it on student.com anymore. I think I might even have some broken links. Some of my
Okay,
old
so
videos.
this is one of the hadiths, and there are multiple of them. I'm gonna show you one of them, and then we can go to other one as well. Hold on. This is Sunnah Ibn Majah 525. Let me share my screen. This is very, very important as well because he discriminated between a girl and a boy. So it says, narrated by Ali, the Prophet said concerning the urine of a nursing an infant, water should be just sprinkled over the urine of a boy. Just sprinkle some water, just spray some water, sprinkle it. And the urine of a girl should be washed. So if a boy does the urine, take some water in your hand and sprinkle it over, and that's it. That's cleansing the urine of a infant boy. But for the girl, if she urinates on you, then you gotta literally wash it up. Abdul Hassan bin Salman etc said, asked about the hadith of the water should be sprinkled over the urine of a baby boy and the urine of a baby girl should be washed when two types of water are the same. He said this is because the urine of a boy is of water and clay, but the urine of a girl is of a flesh and blood. This guy was an idiot, man.
So this is another scientific error that is in. Now, this isn't the Quran, this is Hadith. But this is supposed to be reliable. Yet
It's
Muhammad
Hassan.
here can't tell the difference?
Yeah, it's Hassan.
Can't tell? Eugh. I got a long
And
list
let me
of
give
why
you a
Muhammad's
Sahih
the most
hadith as well.
holy person.
Yeah, this one is Hassan. Sunnah Ibn Majah is the short version is Sahih. Let me bring that up as well. This is Sahih, the book of purification. And it says Hassan bin Ali urinated in the lap of Prophet. And I said, O Messenger of Allah, give me your garment and put another garment on. He said, water should be sprinkled on the urine of the baby boy, and the urine of baby girl should be washed. And this is what he was talking about, that he was urinating on Muhammad and he allowed him to urinate. There is a longer hadith of him allowing the son of Hassan, means Hussein, or son of Ali, Hussein or Hassan, to keep on urinating on him. And he said, doesn't matter, it's a boy urine, and just sprinkle some water. You don't even need to wash it. So the guy who said that, so it has nothing to do with golden shower or anything. It's not a dirty hadith. Any father will allow that. Any uncle will allow that as well. That's not something to be taken in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking outside the family, yeah, they just assumed that babies don't have bladder control, and if they're not, don't have a diaper on, that it's something that definitely could happen. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this on up here, since we've gone down this a little bit of a rabbit hole. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I appreciate all of our guests that we've had on here. Thank you, Thaddeus. Thank you, Adam Seeker. Make sure to go check their channel out. Make sure to click the link in the description for your free tickets to the Seek and Share Truth conference in Ohio that we'll be at. There are also another conference that we will be at in North Carolina, which is the Ministry of Muslim Conference. You'll have to look that up there. I don't think that one's free. I think it's like $30, but considering how much conferences, I know personally how much conferences take to organize, that's pretty dirt cheap. You can't get much more cheaper than that other than free, in my opinion. So make sure to check both of those out. And if you're in North Carolina, I will see you possibly this weekend. But if not, well, you have Ohio coming up in July. So thank you guys so much. And as always, we will end in prayer. Adam, would you like to end us in prayer?
Sure, brother. Heavenly Father, thank you for this blessed time that you have provided us to be here and expose the lies and the deception of this fake, false, cultish ideology. Lord God, bless each and every one of us who are listening, who are watching, and who will watch us later at any time. Lord, allow each and every one of us to be bold enough to speak the truth for your kingdom, for your heavenly kingdom. Lord God, bless Brother Thaddeus, bless Brother Eric and their families, so that they would do this more and more and bring many to your kingdom. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.